Welcome back to Surviving Startup. This is your host, Jamon.
And Terry.
And we got a special guest here today. Since it's tax season,
Special guest.
we're going to talk about some business tax stuff. We was just talking about NFTs. Made us almost want to change up the episode.
Now we get into stocks. We're going to leave that alone for another day.
Right.
Take that into another day.
All right, so introduce yourself.
I am Tia Matthews, Tia the Tax Lady. I am the owner of Matthews Rapid Tax.
So what do you specialize in?
We specialize in small business startup and ongoing expenses.
So when you say ongoing expenses, it's like financial, like...
So we basically helping the business according to their finances, make sure that they are operating properly. So keeping track of their income and expenses properly, making sure that their entity is the correct choice depending on how much income they got flowing through the business. Just basic business management.
And what do you mean by startups? How are you helping? What does that mean?
So when people starting new businesses or have already been operating businesses but are not sure if they're doing it correctly. So like people, I've been running this ice cream truck for about a year now, but I don't know if I'm doing everything right so that I can file my taxes. So making sure that they are having proper record keeping, their entity choice is correct, and everything just fits into place with what they're trying to do, their goals.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that's what they need.
Yes.
Tap in.
Let's do it. Tia the Tax Lady.
All right, bro. Did you still have those things that we sent you?
Those questions? I got a few of them. I don't know.
I'm going to let you jump in, bro, with it.
Since you say you help people do startups or whatnot, that was my first question. Do you have to have a startup? Do you have to have a file taxes doing a DBA? What is a DBA? What is a...
So
can you explain
now we're
that?
talking about entities,
Yep,
how you...
Yep.
Your DBA, what is it? Can you explain that to us? For people that...
With your DBA, I am Tia Matthews, but I am DBA, Matthews Rapid Tax, doing business as Matthews Rapid Tax.
Okay.
So, on the simplest level, you would just file that DBA with the county clerk, just so that you're able to operate within the city, and that just gives you basically permission to use the Matthews Rapid Tax name to be able to open up business accounts and accept payments doing business as that name.
So do you have to have your taxes filed with the DBA, or do you have to worry about your taxes?
So when you're filing taxes, so whenever you make any income, period, you have to file taxes on that income.
Period?
So it could be hobby income. It could be illegal income.
Oh, man, that just hurt my stomach.
It could be from your actual business you're running. If you are receiving income, you got to file taxes on that income. You got to pay taxes on that income.
Okay. That's something new.
What you thought we can just get it?
If I'm outside helping somebody do some work, why do I have to file taxes? If I just go help my man cut some grass.
So
if I'm just helping my neighbor cut some grass and he give me some money for doing it, why do I have to?
So it is certain levels to it. So you can say like this is just a hobby. I'm only making this small amount. I'm doing it here and there sporadically. It's not actually sustaining anything. And if the IRS were to come at you, you can say like, this is hobby income. I'm not claiming this because this is technically not anything that I really do. I just on a one-off might get this here and there.
Okay.
But once it becomes consistent.
So if you go help with a wall or two every now and then.
Yeah,
okay.
Because
I know I'm just asking. Because I know some people who go do walls or something and they call it under the table. Or whatever they name it.
Under the table is illegal. Under the table.
I mean, but is that illegal if they say under the table? Whether I'm going to help?
because they paying you cash, so they don't got to be on the books.
Want to help with the wall.
Say under the table.
Just the words.
Just the words under the table.
Because what that's telling is
keep that out your vocabulary. Under the table. Keep that out your vocabulary.
Table. That's the IRS table.
Okay, that makes sense. We gonna not use that word no more.
Yeah,
we just getting money.
Yeah. Illegal. Okay. If you got under the table money, then you need to bring it on top of the table and pay taxes on it.
Okay.
Because under the table means I'm not paying taxes. Nobody knows about this. Straight from your hand into my pocket. Nobody knows. But once that amount becomes so high, or you making purchases, you go out pay $50,000 cash for a brand new vehicle, and you just working at this job over here. Yeah, that's when
not gonna make sense.
Yeah,
okay.
you get audited and they find all that under the table money.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
That kind of make me think of people with, I don't know what you call it, talk job, but people that do like Uber, stuff like that.
Those
like what? So them gig workers, that's big right now.
Yeah,
right?
so
what is they need to be
topic.
looking at right now, as far as like taxes? Like if they like tax season right now, it's on us, right?
Yes.
So.
And I used to be Amazon Flex driver.
So that part actually gets deep. So with all of those people, they actually receive a 1099. They're technically self-employed, so they're supposed to be keeping track of all of their own personal expenses. Yeah. They give you an app that'll track your mileage. The mileage is gonna definitely always be better than gas tracking. So downloading that app and making sure whenever you're doing your Uber or Uber Eats or grocery delivery, whatever they may be, you tracking your mileage. If you eat lunch while you're, you out Ubering for a few hours and I gotta go get me some lunch, that isn't a write-off expense. Anything like,
like let's give them a list of stuff where like this is the type, this is the stuff that you can use.
So I mean, I wouldn't
like say you are an Uber driver or a Lyft driver or a Amazon Flex or any one of the.
So for those people specifically, I mean, it depends. So we always say like your uniform. If you have to purchase a uniform from them, obviously write that off. If you only deliver your stuff in sweats, and then when you done delivering, you go get dressed up nice and neat, then that's technically a uniform. If you have,
they about to go buy some Nike sweats and write it up. They writing up all their Nike.
While you doing your Uber Eats, and that is your uniform. Like, this is not what I usually wear. Or like some of your vehicle maintenance. So depending on how much you're Uber eating or whatever it's called, Ubering. So like some of your regular maintenance, like oil changes. Sometimes you might get tires. So I would say a percentage of your maintenance. If it's something big like that, because your vehicle is not 100% for your business, it's still going to be like a split.
So it's only like a percentage if you got stuff like that.
Yeah, if you're doing something like that with your vehicle, then it's definitely going to just be a percentage, unless it's mileage, because mileage is the miles that I'm driving while I'm doing this.
You're doing work.
So 100%. And then the food is like the food that I'm eating while I'm doing this. So and then you also want to be looking at like tags and registration, a percentage of that. For Uber and things, there's not a lot of expenses. It's really just making sure you got your lunch and your mileage tracked. And as long as you're doing your mileage and your lunch for every single day, then you're usually pretty good. Because it's not much of a uniform that you would buy. If anything, it's like one sweatsuit or one, two shirts.
Well, let's take it past Uber. And what if we, say my business, for instance, where I work on the road, but then my office is at home. So you work at home. Like a lot of people are working at home right now.
Working from home is actually, it's a little tricky.
Okay.
You got two different ways you can claim working from home. So you could either do a set deduction and say because of the space, we would rent this space out for about $200. So I'm gonna rent this space out to my business for a straight $200. It does have to be very reasonable, and they can audit you on anything as long as you have justifiable proof on whatever you're doing. It's fine. Like people do all type of crazy things all day. As long as you can justify it, it's good. So the other way to calculate it is to take the total square footage of your house. Consider the amount of square footage that you're using for this business purpose. If it's 100, it has to be 100% for business purposes, and then divide that square footage by the total and see what the actual percentage of that you're actually using, and then apply.
So it gets deep. This is why they need to come see T, the tax lady.
Then you can apply that percentage to all the applicable bills.
One thing I was hearing too about that is like if something do happen, like an audit or something, like, and you claiming this space, and then somebody come into this space, you can't have like nothing in this space that's not work related, not your kids' toys,
no toy. Yep, you can have their pictures on the wall like an office would look, but it can't be like bakery items inside of your detailing space, or crossing businesses, or my personal you know, space is up in here where we do our chill thing, and then over here is where I do my actual office thing. It has to be 100% for office purposes, and like at all times. It can't be a spot I set up in the kitchen periodically to do my work, and now I'm gonna claim this.
Fully dedicated.
Fully dedicated. Yep.
Okay. Nice.
We was talking last time we met up, and I was asking you, like, if a business hasn't been keeping track, everything good, what should they do to be ready for this tax season? I remember you said, well, they probably shouldn't file.
No, I didn't say that. It would depend on exactly how deep they in, but I mean, you can always do a reconstruction of expenses, of income and expenses. So going through the record keeping methods like the bank statements or the Cash App or the website, and reconstructing each month by month the income and expenses that were.
So you just gave yourself more work, because is that something that I would come to you to do, or should I do that before I come to you?
It depends on how much you want to pay. I would definitely do that for a fee, but you can do it for yourself for free.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, if you don't, I do have people who don't want to deal with the hassle, who, you know, they keep track of everything. They say it's kind of organized. Like, you know, they got it in the different folders for each month. If it's for a full 12 months, I usually start off fees at, depends on how they kept track of everything, but it start off at $100.
Okay. Tia the tax lady. There you go.
Yes.
Well, so speaking of that, should a business file quarterly, yearly? What is your small startups? Let's talk startups, because a lot of
startups
people
should always file yearly.
Yearly,
but, I mean,
and not quarterly.
But I mean, it depends though, because a startup.
What's the
you can be in business for 10 years and still be a startup.
Now before we answer that question, what's the difference of
that's what I'm saying,
filing quarterly? Because I've heard people ask if I'm doing this quarterly, am I doing this yearly? I've been doing it yearly, but I never known a difference.
So if you have a higher
quarterly
total income, then you can break that down. Instead of paying $10,000 when tax season comes up, then you can break that down and pay that amount.
When I had to pay $17,000 into it, I could have broke that down
into 4 payments. Yep.
So that's why they
had to estimate. You would have had to estimate that you were going to make that. But if you feel that you're going to owe anything, then they always recommend you doing at least some type of installment payment.
That's smart. Okay, so now I know.
Yeah.
Because last year, it scared me. I was like, I'm gonna do this one.
17,000.
No, it wasn't that much.
I was gonna say
I was gonna be my next like, man, hold on.
It wasn't that much. It wasn't that much, but man, people were excited to get money. I was like, this is hurting me.
It's another level.
Yeah.
I didn't levels to this. Maybe like
I
didn't anticipate
you
this
said
one.
that like one of the first episodes. Like, look, don't plan on getting taxes if you're gonna be a business owner.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I mean, I say it depends on your goals. Because I mean, you can make $100,000 and spend $80,000 and still be in poverty, only making $20,000.
Talking about
so, it depends on your goals. Because you'll have people who every year they writing off 80% of their income, but then they decide, oh, well, I know it looks like I'm only making $25,000 a year, but I'm actually making a $50,000 and I want to buy a house. Well, we're going off your tax returns, and that shows that you only made $25,000.
Yeah.
So then you gotta adjust or push expenses here and there, or not use these expenses, or find other ways to increase that taxable income so that you can actually qualify for loans. But it is.
You have to be a recurring guest.
Break it down in sections. Break it down in sections.
Finance today. We can touch all
It's way too much
different topics. I said, yell something out about money, and I just go on about it. I do also specialize in financial literacy. So one of my goals is to empower the community with as much financial literacy as we can fit inside our heads. So. Whenever anybody asks any question about any aspect of finance, I'm always going to be there to try to get it into their brains, whether it be lending or, like we were just talking, stocks and EFTs, or simple taxes, or just, planning for retirement, anything.
Do you deal with real estate at all?
I do know real estate.
Okay.
Yes. I've had a real estate license.
Yep.
I work in mortgages. I know.
Okay.
most.
That was just a question.
Yeah, I can.
It was just a question.
Yeah, I know real estate.
Nice.
I know everything about finance. I know a
Finance,
little something
that's
about
a-
everything. Let's asterisk that. I know
So
a little something.
what got you into doing what you do about finance or taxes?
See a need, feel a need. See a need, feel a need.
That was
What
an
does that
interesting
mean?
Story you told me.
Yep. So
Explain that to. I want to hear it. Explain that to me.
you know, just basically. So I personally, I had a rough past and everything. So I was a teen mom. I had to do a lot of things on my own, like figuring out money and situations, and a lot of things that we all go through, like buying our first car, going on a lot, getting these ridiculous high interest rates, payments we can't afford, not realizing what's going on. So, one of my things now is just trying to take that knowledge that I've already been through or the experiences that I've already been through and try to help people so they don't have to go through those things. So, I mean, and that's more of the reason why my knowledge is so broad, just because, I am a nerd. So once I see something or like have a question about something, I dig deep.
You figure it out.
I did.
Yeah.
I really
That's
learned.
like
I
that.
learned
That's
it
like
enough
that.
to
That's
teach
how I feel.
somebody. Yeah.
I like that.
Yep.
So that's what got you started?
Yep. Just
How old were you, Max? When you got started doing whatever you
So I
this
actually
journey?
I mean, even go a little deeper than that. So
yeah, that's
once-
what I'm
yeah,
asking because it's a
whole-
it's a
it's a
15-year-old.
I ain't want to force you into
It's a
telling you
long
that.
story.
I ain't wanna-
16-year-olds that just
I ain't
Yeah.
wanna-
feel like they can't do it, and
Yeah.
I want to know that. I want to know they can do
So,
anything.
yep, I started doing taxes when I was 18. My whole family actually does taxes, but my uncle, when I was younger, kind of was like a mentor for me. So he would have me come into his tax office when I was younger, and I would do my homework up there. He would have other kids up there. I helped them with their homework. And then one day he just like, let me show you how to do these taxes. You say you like numbers. Let me show you what we doing over here. So turned 18, he got me in the office doing taxes, and that was the beginning of it. But when I first started, it was really more of just doing it just to be doing it. It wasn't really all of the passion and everything. Once I got
So what age did you actually start to do taxes?
I started when I was 18.
So you actually
Yeah,
started.
I started when I was 18.
That's a legal thing, right?
Yeah, just legally. I learned the software when I was 16. Once I turned about 25 and being in the offices for so long and seeing people come in and out with their different issues, and at that point having experience in my own issues and starting to want to be financially responsible and realizing all the different aspects in it, then I kind of was like, okay, let's take this a little more serious and figure out what we actually are doing. You can do taxes forever and just do data entry. I know people who've been very successful doing taxes and haven't done nothing more than a simple 1040 with a Schedule C attached.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's so many aspects of it, but at that point I was just like, I really want to know what's going on.
Yeah.
So, then starting to just research into other aspects. I think shortly after that I got into banking. I always wanted to be a banker, but I felt like it was this magic knowledge I needed to be a banker. And
So it wasn't?
no,
Was it not?
No, they actually recruited me, like poached me from the job I was working at because of my management experience.
So you don't even have to know
Management
nothing
and
about
sales.
numbers to do
Nope.
that.
Nah, it was
so
sales.
anybody can go be a banker
If you know sales,
if you know sales.
yep, you got to be good at sales, which I am. So Huntington ended up calling me there to come and work for them. Very successful at Huntington, and was able to learn a lot of the different finance things. And my brain is like, I magically retain all of the processes and the all of the policies and like how everything works. I just remember it. I don't know how, but
Structure of things.
yeah.
It's
So
just how your brain works.
yep. So when people would start coming in asking questions, nobody would know the answer, and I just magically pop up with the answer. Like, I read it somewhere. And check it, and they check it. I'm right usually. So then I realized like I can remember things. So just starting to actually understand how I retain information, and then just going and getting a bunch of information. So I actually didn't have any formal education to do any of the financial things that I've accomplished. I just was determined. I did go to school for a little while to try to be a financial advisor. And that went great, actually. I got all the way to the end where you learn how to calculate the projections of the portfolio and all these, and then that just got a little. So I'm like, I can help you pick stocks. I can help you, look at the history of these, understand all of this and that good stuff, and put you on a good plan for retirement. But I ain't calculating.
Yeah, your future.
Yeah, I can't. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a financial counselor.
I like that. I
I
like
will
that.
counsel you through whatever
Nice.
you need.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. What is one of the most important things you think a business should know about taxes?
Proper income and expense record keeping. So just keeping all that income right here and knowing everything that you made, keeping all those expenses right here and knowing everything that you spent. That's the key to everything.
What's a good way to track that?
I personally like I personally like an Excel spreadsheet where all my best clients will do like the months as the tickers at the bottom, and then the different expenses that you have for each month. You can just copy it over to the following month, and then just dropping down and putting in exactly what you spent. I personally like that method because it's audit proof. I like all my files to be audit proof. So if you give me that, for any reason the IRS reach out and ask any questions, I can just send them that. You don't even have to worry about anything.
Nothing.
So at that point, your file is secure. All the work is done. You see or you hear where people like, oh, I got audited, and it's like scrambling for paperwork, scrambling for documents. That's not what we do.
So you don't really need receipts and all that. People be saving up.
If it go deeper than that, so usually when people have the Excel spreadsheet, they'll keep dates. So it'll be just like it's every.
My wife keeps receipts. She keep an Excel sheet. She keep everything.
I mean, it's
now
best.
I'm ready to throw stuff away.
Yeah, no, it's best
she
to
keep
have
it all.
those
That's why.
backups, but that's gonna be level 3 of the audit. If if the IRS want to see your receipts, then your record keeping not on point. They can usually look at your different record keeping methods and see how you're keeping track of everything, and depending on how it looks, they'll be pretty okay with that. I've had strippers who've got audited where we've sent in a calendar of like the calendar with the dates written on of income and expenses, and that was satisfied by the IRS. So I mean, it just depends. It's just got to be logical. It's just got to make sense. Yeah. If everything happened in January and December, that's a little funny. They're going to want to see some receipts.
Right.
But if you got it spread out and it logically makes sense, those Excel spreadsheets that people bring me will say like, I paid my phone bill this month. I paid this month. I paid this on this date. And then they're putting the dates in the column. So they're spread out or close together. It just logically makes sense as like, oh, I noticed that you're paying all your bills between the 14th and the 18th.
Yeah.
That's what people do. So
keep all your stuff locked in spreadsheet.
Yes.
Preferable.
My next question is this. Do you have a spreadsheet, like a pre-filled out spreadsheet that you could send people or that people can download?
Or Google.
You can definitely Google one. I do have one. But I'm kind of working on putting it together in a nice little package with a nice little price tag bow
For
tie.
your customers?
Yep.
That's nice.
Because I mean it's simple information. You can get it yourself. So if I gotta provide
That's
it to you,
nice.
then you might as well pay for it because you could have did it on
You could
your
have did
own.
it yourself.
It's just a blank
That'd be
sheet.
something. I asked you that too because if you got something like that, by the time this episode come out, it can be a link.
Yeah.
But that's a good thing to have for like a landing page.
Yeah.
Free Excel, and then
Yeah.
get people deeper into your financial stuff with that free spreadsheet.
Because
to
H&R
track
Block
your
don't give you no Excel
expenses.
sheet. And they charge you a lot.
And they charge you a lot.
You
I
ain't
think
lying.
they charge you per form. Like
Yeah.
like every single document you have to have filed in has a fee on there.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't speak too badly, but last time I went to H&R Block, it didn't go too good.
No?
Like,
Yeah, that's what I've been using since my aunt passed away, but now I'm going to Tia the tax lady.
She just make you want to go to it.
Yeah,
when you start talking about money, don't you?
we going. We switching over right now.
We can even review your
We're
tax
switching
return
over.
from H&R Block
Uh-huh.
and see, how beneficial
And now we're
it was.
married too, so it's a whole different
Yeah.
aspect. We got a whole.
Yeah,
I don't know if
more
we're doing this jointly or
Yeah.
not. That's a whole different
That's
Good question.
whole
actually.
different.
That's a good question, actually.
Yeah.
So, as far as the question of should you file married filing separate or single or married filing joint, once you are married, you are married. You are joint.
So it ain't no.
It ain't no question, really.
It ain't no different.
It's not really a question, and that's one of the things that the IRS love messing with people about.
Why did they? Even
Why
put
did
it on
they
there
ask
then?
you that then?
Because
And
if
let
you're
you
going through
choose.
separation,
Mm.
and now for at least 6 months out the year, one of y'all moved out of the household, and y'all are separating your assets, then you can file separate, married, but we're separate, and you have to have been out of the household for at least 6 months.
That just got
If it
deep.
just started, like if y'all just got married, then you're good. If y'all just got divorced, then you're good. But once it's been 6 months, that's one person been out of the house, now you can change that to either, whatever you want it to be.
Damn.
And then because
I mean, I ain't worried about it. We probably
It's always
probably
been joint,
doing
but I thought
joint, but-
we've been thinking about it like, should we not? When we was first starting,
I heard a
off,
couple rich people don't do that, and they was explaining why, but I was just like, whatever, do what
I
y'all do.
personally have been in front of the IRS where they have been asking, what question do you ask to know if somebody should file married filing separate or married filing joint? And how do you find out if somebody is married, and all these different questions? And their conclusion is married is married.
Married is married.
This is what the IRS told me.
This is what
the
the Bible says.
This is what the federal government told me to my face.
Yeah.
So, and with other people, me being a witness to other people's audit.
Yeah.
To the point where we're in federal court.
We doing
trying
joint.
to
I ain't getting
understand-
audited. We ain't
yeah,
trying to
I'm
get
trying to
audited.
understand the proper
We
way
leaving them alone.
to file taxes. I'm like, ugh.
We leaving
So
them
yeah,
alone.
leave that alone. The IRS frowns heavily on 2 earned income credits in one household.
All right. Well, now you guys know. Whoa, no.
Is your chair messing up?
No, I just went down. No.
Okay, I was looking over the questions. So you said that we did all the talking that you just did. Well, what is it? This question I just asked you. We go through this like last time we was talking. Like I completely lost track of what the heck we was talking about. Like it took us like a whole 3 minutes to figure out like what was like the whole point.
Back to you got a question?
No, go ahead.
But back to what you were saying and how you started and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have to go to school for what you do? Is there a degree in what you have to have for taxes or anything you do? Is there like, how does this work?
Nope. In order to be paid to do tax returns, you have to be licensed or just registered with the IRS. So you have to have a PTIN number.
Okay, is that like a class I take, or is that like a?
Nope. You do a due diligence course just to make sure you know, like who can claim what and some of the standard things, but it's not really that's one of the things why I say there's different levels to the tax preparer, because anybody can just say, I want to go be a tax preparer, as long as you don't have felonies or you got to be just a decent a person of decent moral character. You can do taxes.
Are you hiring right now?
I'm always hiring, but we definitely want you. We definitely want people who
It's
are
requirements
go-getters.
for you, huh?
Nah, the thing
keep
you
it real.
gotta understand is that you get your own clients. This is a self-employment job.
self-employed.
Yeah, so
Okay.
the same way that if you're a realtor, you go out and get your own clients. If you you do detailing, you gotta go out and get your own clients. If somebody come under you, they gotta go get their own clients. I'll help you do the stuff. I'll teach you how we do this.
Got you.
But you gotta go get your own clients. And that's a lot of times the hard part also right now where we are, because everybody cousin do taxes.
Yeah.
So it's like
That's why I asked if you had to go
Yeah.
to school for
Nope,
what you
nope. And
or
nope. So a lot of people are just data entry. Like I said, you can
Yeah.
do data entry forever. Just take what you give me and put it in there.
I mean, you can do that yourself then, right?
Yeah,
With
yeah,
that free
yep.
file.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
And that's what a lot of, I don't know specifically, but a lot of people will just go to Sam's
yeah.
Club and buy the TurboTax.
Yeah.
You can do 6-10 people with that. All right, I'm about to make $600, $1,200, and go in and do that real quick. So everybody got their own thing
Now,
that they're doing.
back to the first question. Now, do those cats have to file for taxes when they get that $600 and $700 every
Yeah.
time?
Yes. Yep. You make that.
Because I know y'all
$600.
ain't filing for taxes. Y'all give people tax money and ain't filing.
Yeah.
It was something I was reading about how they was changing something with the Cash App for like a lot of those people that do gig stuff and stuff like that. Like,
What does that mean?
can you?
So that's
I send
the-
money to my wife
She probably,
just because.
yeah, but like, let's
Yeah,
say
that's a good
you,
point, too.
let's say you doing something right, and I come to you and I buy stuff from you on a regular basis, but I'm cash apping you.
Yeah.
At a certain amount, she gonna elaborate it. At a certain amount, now the government looking at that.
That makes sense.
You know
But
I'm
what if
saying?
I give my wife $100 every week just because I'm out and she ain't around? And every week you can go through my phone, Kaylee $100, Kaylee 50, Kaylee.
It's another touchy situation.
You get what I'm
So
saying?
let's go into it.
So that is the 1099K, and that's the form that you receive from any third party transaction. So if you do either 20 transactions or one transaction totaling $600 or more, or total transactions of at least $600 or more, then the company that you're doing that through, whether it be Cash App, Venmo, Square, whomever, will issue you that 1099K. Even if it's so if you
So
have
that's
your
automatic.
So I get
You
it
do
through
that
Square.
automatically,
usually
or-
I get
your
it through
account
Square.
usually it's if your account is set up as a business account.
Uh-huh.
So if it's set up as a personal account and then you do receive a 1099K,
That comes through Square. I have that. I
yeah,
do
the
get that.
IRS people who just recently gave me the update on this say don't claim it, don't even put it on your taxes.
Why?
So because
There's a lot of
it's for-
people gonna be scared, like they ain't gonna know what to do.
and you
like,
might get audited, but it's fine. You might get audited, but you're not supposed to claim it. If you put it on your taxes and then write it off, that's bad. Like if they'll give you that 1099 saying like, okay, you transferred $1,200 between you to your wife this month or this year, and here's a 1099K for $1,200, and you're like, wait, this was money that we just was
Yeah,
in the
we
same
gotta stop
household.
using Cash App. We
Yeah.
doing money from now on.
you just don't. You just don't
Don't
file
file it.
it. Yep.
Okay.
So
But
at what
if-
point should you?
If it's personal, you don't file it at all. It's not
Okay.
income.
Okay.
It's not income.
That makes sense.
If it is income, so you're selling dinners or you taking your payments
Yeah, that's
through
what I
Cash
was
App
thinking.
or anything
Yeah.
like that, then that's 100% income on your tax return, and then it's up to you to keep track of your expenses to be able to write that money off to a decent taxable amount that you either
Yeah.
want to pay taxes on or zero.
Okay.
Nice. That's
Because depending on what you're doing, a lot of times when people starting out businesses, they spend more money than they make.
Yeah, the first couple
Yeah.
years.
And
the
we don't
first
even
years,
notice it.
you went
Yeah.
to negative.
because
You
you
don't even
just
notice
be
it.
like,
Yeah.
oh,
But
I
those
need
are the
this.
years
I'm gonna
that
run to the store. Oh, I
those
need
are the
this.
years you really file taxes.
I'm gonna
You
need
took
this.
a
Run the
loss.
card.
Yeah, because then you get.
Yeah, you get a nice
Yeah.
little. You might get a little kickback.
I
Yeah.
did my first year. I got a nice little kickback
Mhm.
because my first year, like all
All
equipment
lost.
from buying, like
Mhm.
it was
Yeah.
like almost 10,000.
But then you got to think about that as ongoing. You buy everything at first when you starting up, but then there's a lifeline to those things. So then it come like 3-4 years down the line where you're like, okay, now I need all new equipment. You might take a loss again that year.
Mm-hmm.
That's
You
what
might
I'm
have
doing
to,
right
you know,
now, yeah.
you
I need
never-
a new computer. My computer.
Right. So it's like, you can always take that decent loss, but it's usually during the startup.
Right.
Got you. So now we in the startup phase. We don't know anything about taxes. Should we come to somebody like you, or is it somewhere that we can go to figure out like, okay, what are all of the expenses that I can write off that I need to be tracking?
If you're starting a business and you don't know what to do, it would be most beneficial to come. I don't know if there's people like me, but
I'm CT.
That is not.
I don't know if it is.
You gotta
There's
get it.
people who
Got
do
you.
what I do or have the centralized knowledge that I have, but I would say come see me just because I went and looked 1,000 different places to get all this information. I went and found the information and that was it. And then I had to dive deeper and go deeper and then go find a book and then read that to figure out what is actually going on. So you can figure it out. It might take some time, but I am a centralized location for all of this random information. We
Yeah.
can go from your business to your personal to your kids' future to whatever. And you don't have to Google a different thing. You don't have to pull up a different web page. We right here.
So where is that at? How can they find you though?
You can find me, Matthews Rapid Tax Service. My office is located at Well, I don't want to say where my office is located at. We're at 44th Street near Breton.
44th and Breton.
But
Is it Tia the Tax Lady?
It's Matthews Rapid Tax.
Matthews Rapid
yeah,
Tax.
it's in a building and there's other businesses in there, so I don't really want to do that. But yeah, come right to my Facebook page, Matthews Rapid Tax Service. Or you can text me, email, chat. My phone number is 616-970-3367. Email matthewsco.financial@gmail.com. I'm more of a local based kind of person. I don't have all of the social media and everything, so.
But you got too much information to not have.
I know. We're working on it. We're working on it. Yeah, and I'll probably do more of a pushing out information.
Too much information.
Online. Yeah, so that I can have a broader audience.
Nice.
Just because, I mean, right now, I'm all about my community and my people right here. And, I want to, my goals for the future is to see more financially wealthy people or financially comfortable people coming out of our, communities and things. Like, just helping us understand how to maintain and retain our money. Like,
yeah.
So do you ever do like seminars?
I do
things like that.
Now I work with a couple different nonprofit organizations and do financial literacy workshops. I can be requested to do other financial literacy workshops. Every once in a while we'll have like different Zoom calls, or we're thinking about doing some in-person business finance classes, so like different things like how to start business credit, or how to purchase things through your business, or different things that people are super interested in but don't really know where to start at. Definitely. So doing like little workshops for things like that.
I thought I seen something about you had event or something coming up, speaking at an event.
I am participating in a pop-up shop. I am working with a nonprofit organization right now. It's called Hope, helping our adolescents prosper. I'm doing a couple financial literacy workshops with them. I did one last weekend. I'll do one this weekend, and just
hit me up on that.
I work with them.
Yeah,
nice. For sure. I work with them because I was a teen mom. It's a program for teen moms, helping them get their life in order. So I handle or help them out with the financial aspect of that, just helping them understand some of the options that they have for when they are getting money, or some of the things that they can do to try to save money for the future, teaching them some of the nice tips and tricks that the other people know that we might not know because of our level of poverty. And like we were discussing earlier, once you get to a certain level, you don't want to send that information down anymore. And then sometimes it's too high level to even try to teach people, like
comprehend.
They don't. It's too much to try to get them to comprehend that. So it's like we just gonna covet this information and not let anybody know. So I'm trying to get different people into that information.
So basically what you're trying to do is start them off from the beginning.
Yes.
And then
all the way
take it so they can take it to another level.
Yes. And then just making sure I give people enough information and where they're excited about it and want to go tell somebody else.
Nice.
Like one of the things we discussed with the ladies last weekend was CDs. They didn't know what a CD was or how it works. So explaining to them how that works and how this could be a tool for saving short term and decently long term, and letting them know, like, once you understand this is the first step to get into stocks and bonds.
Is that just for women?
This program is.
That program is?
Yeah, that program is.
I like that.
Yeah. So, like I said, see a need, feel a need. So if I see where somebody is like, it doesn't matter. There's people who will come to me like, oh, I'm purchasing a car right now. I'm going to the dealership. Whoop-de-whoop. Stop, When you purchasing a car, do it this way. This is the way you should do it. This is how you get the best bang for your buck,
Told you got too much information.
Too much.
Like, you got little one-offs that if you just put all your little one-offs like that you just did out there, YouTube and stuff, like, your stuff will blow up quick.
Yeah.
Just because this is the type
it.
More and more people, I feel, from our communities that we come from are starting to want to learn
Yep.
financials.
And that's
Yeah,
why
like,
I
you
want
know
to
what I
start
mean?
with young kids, because I feel like we can change young kids easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the thing. But yeah, I like that because we don't know.
Right.
And
you
then
don't know what you don't know.
the people that do know, like you say, scared to share.
Yep.
Yep, don't. Yep.
Scared to let it know. Like it's a secret.
It
Yeah.
ain't a secret.
It ain't, but it is.
It ain't
Well,
what
and
it
then-
is,
and
and we
then
about to
for-
break that stigma.
For some people, it's more work trying to explain this to you than for me to saying, just go figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, like especially stocks. Like when you really think about stocks and bonds and trying to understand that whole thing, it's like I can tell you that a stock is just a piece of a company, but do you understand why you would buy
Yeah.
a piece of this
And
company?
it don't look cool. That's the
yeah,
thing. It
and then
don't
it's
look
trying to
cool.
get them to understand like money changes over time, but you got to look at the bigger picture.
Long money.
Right.
You
It's
talking
like,
about long money.
Yeah, like we're looking at these graphs, and as we look at these price changes, it's doing this. So if you're looking at it every day, this is what you're looking at. But when you look at that bigger picture, it's doing that. You
Yeah.
know, where it's wiggling, but wiggling in an upward motion. So it's like, okay, every day might be a struggle, but you got to look at the big picture. Oh, that's a good life lesson.
I like that.
Look at that big
It
picture.
is.
Right,
It
right.
is.
Every day might be a struggle.
It is.
But yeah,
And I like that because we got to change that stigma.
yeah.
Buy into
Definitely.
stocks.
Yes,
I be telling my
yes.
sister that. I went to my sister's room and she had 1,000 pairs of Jordans, bro. I ain't never seen so many black boxes. Not an orange box. I wear Nikes and stuff like that. I ain't see an orange box nowhere, bro. And I was like,
Like, you know how much money you got
oh,
right there.
yeah.
Where it could be,
you can have
it
so
could
many
be
stocks.
collecting
And
this
when I
stuff.
tell them
It
that,
was even
they be
thinking
like,
of-
Terry, why you always talking stocks and then you always talking this?
Why
and
you
that?
not?
And that's what I tell them. They know me
Why
though.
you
I'm gonna
not?
talk it anyway though.
Yeah.
But it's like that. Like instead of them listening, they just be like, you always talking stocks and you
Yeah.
always talking this. Just listen.
You gotta show them the rule of 72 and be like, if that first pair of shoes you bought was in here, look at the compound interest it would have accumulated and where you would have been at this point.
See,
Like even just
People don't
one or
think
two
like that.
pair of them shoes.
I had a
right?
cat say something like that about if I can afford it or not. It's like if you can afford it, can you buy 5 of them? If you can buy 5 of them, you can afford it. If you can't buy
Yeah.
5 of them, you can't afford it.
That's a
And I
nice
was
way
like,
to
Yeah.
test that.
Huh? I never looked at nothing like that. If I can't buy 5 of these watches, what's the point of having one?
Yep. I kind of looked at stuff like that, but I always thought like 3.
Eh,
Yes.
But five gets you a little bit more comfortable. If you can
See-
buy 5, then
when I'm purchasing stuff, I think about number one, how many hours of my life did I work?
Did you work?
Yeah, to buy
have
that.
to buy this. Like, how many hours do this cost? And then what could I have bought? Like, where could I put this money where it would have actually worked for me over the time frame that I'm gonna have this thing?
I like it. You got anything, bro? I got
we
one
went
last
through the
question.
I asked all the questions that was on my list over here.
My one last question is: what would you tell anyone, young, old, something they could do today or tomorrow, start on a vision, or what you're doing, or I don't know how many people trying to do taxes, but I know a lot of people doing taxes. So
Yeah.
or financial advisor, because a lot of people do financial advisor, and then like you say, get to a certain point and like, this ain't for
A lot of
me,
people do
but
financial advisory that don't even look financially stable.
that ain't financially exactly. But not even that.
yeah.
Just what can you do? Like, what would you tell the next person?
I mean, I would tell anybody, like, make sure that you set realistic goals for yourself, like time frame goals, like 3 months, 6 months, next year. Know where your future is going, and then make sure every choice that you make is going towards that decision. Make sure you're not self-sabotaging. Whatever it is you got your mindset, make sure that's what you're doing. But if you don't have no goals, then you just sitting still, and you don't go nowhere when you sitting still.
Have a dream, make some goals,
Make it
and
happen.
make your time worth it.
Yes. Make your decisions reflect where you want to be.
There it is. And start today, not tomorrow.
Yes. The sooner the better.
They say if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yes.
There
yes.
it is.
Yes.
I just got a jewel, a little nugget to throw out there. Like a lot of times, and this is what I be telling my sons, because you want to chase a check, you want to get a job, you want to chase money. No, you need to chase what's in here. Learn. If you can learn, then you can make however much money you want to make.
Figure it out.
So if it's somebody that want to do taxes, like I would say, holla at Tia because you see
Hit
how
her
much
up.
knowledge she got.
Hit her
So
up.
if
She
you
seem
can,
like
if
she
you can
cool.
come and get knowledge, you know what I'm
Like, you know
saying? If
what
you
I
can
mean?
say like, all right, Matthews Rapper Tax is hiring. You gotta go get your own clients, but think about the amount of knowledge that you can get from somebody like this, and that will set you apart from all of the people who just input numbers. Having that knowledge will set you apart.
There it is.
Boom,
Tia the
that's
tax
it.
lady. I
Tia the tax
appreciate you
lady.
for joining us.
Thank you.
Start
Man.
today, not tomorrow.
Not tomorrow. Boom, and we out.